Hello everyone, this is Vic Benedict. We're playing Ninja Gaiden 2 on Master Ninja difficulty with Advanced Tactics. This is the 4th of 14 total chapters in this game. And this first confrontation is a bit of a tedious formality here as we're dealing with these mutant bats, as well as the ones that are hanging upside down. An ET will kill these guys, and it's really not... money-wise, these guys aren't worth very much, so just get your arrows. At the store, I'm going to leave in my shopping experience for you. And this gauntlet is not very hard. I remembered it being harder, but I don't know what the reason is for it being easier now. I guess I've just played it a lot of times, or I'm getting more skillful as a player. What you should not get is the incendiary shurikens, because we will be coming across a course later in the level that will just give us free incendiary shurikens, so it doesn't make any sense to just buy those now. It is very important to get arrows though, because the creatures that we'll be fighting, the Van Gels, they get stuck behind the subway geometry. It's pretty funny actually, but I have all of my weapons up to level 2 so far, and right here I'm just demonstrating the Falcon's Talons. The thing that I don't like about the flying swallow Azuna drop is if you miss, then he lands pretty roughly, and there's a lot of recovery time. I mean, more frames than usual to get out of a jam. It's pretty bad. A lot of people know what I'm talking about because they've obviously done it. So I'm going to equip the Dragon Sword, let my health regenerate, come down here. Now this guy, I usually try to get a beheading on him or stun him, and then come off the Flying Swallow with an Azuna drop. But if you have the Wind Blades up to level 2 here, what you want to do, since I don't have those, I'm just going to tell you what you should do. Get as close to the enemies as possible, because the Wind Blades are more effective and they rip people up if you're in closer proximity to them. But that doesn't matter if you have the Inferno. You get 2 instant kills with the Inferno. That's what I like about it. And you're probably going to get a lot of Nimpo drops because you're using magic. That is one way to get it. It's kind of an ironic way to get it, but you're just overrun here. That's the situation. You've got archers who are very deadly, and even worse, very accurate. So, in my last guides, I think I was just completely spamming the magic attacks, but here, I'm mainly using it to control the situation if things get out of hand, as well as if I need to Nimpo cancel, which means I have recovery frames, and I need to immediately stop and use the Nimpo to get me immediate iframes. So we have an archer down here, jump stun on landing ET, take care of him, and then just do a double charge here, a UT, arrow UT. And then the next set of enemies is, oh yeah, this is the head that I came across down here. It never stops rolling. So that's just bizarre. Anyway, we're going to have 4 more of these IS ninjas, so you might want to heal if you are in need of health, and backtrack if you need to. There is a box of Nimpo, so don't be liberal with the Nimpo here, because without that checkpoint you're going to have to redo this entire section. So if you rewind that, what happened was I got the launcher parry, and I was following that up with the Azuna drop, but I got shot right out of it by a detonating incendiary shuriken from these guys here. Okay, so occasionally I'll screw up the button press. What it is simply a Flying Swallow and then XY, and I know it sounds really easy to do, but sometimes I don't know, I just get paranoid when so much is on the line. Especially with the Falcon's Talons, which I'm just not very used to using, in all honesty. I'm a Dragon Sword kind of guy, and I also really like the dual swords. So that head is going to have to continue rolling ceaselessly as we make our way up here. That chest of Nimpos to the left, but there's no point in getting it. You notice I have my lunar staff on now. I'm going to spawn these guys, and there's a lot of them, but the majority of these guys will simply get stuck behind the geometry. So look at this right here. This 360. No, that was not the 360. Isn't it amazing though that the 360 UT will kill those gold Van Gelfs, but a standard 360 won't. I mean, a standard UT just won't even do anything. It probably takes two just standard UTs with this weapon. But anyway, so look at all this. I mean, this is par for the course. This happens every time. It'll always happen to you. Maybe not the amount of enemies that I got stuck here, which was high. I never had this many enemies get stuck. Now here's a pair of enemies right here, and I'm using arrow UTs because I don't have much money. I think I only have like 5,000 in essence and not too many items. But this level you will accrue a lot of money, especially if you do the Test of Valor, which is just a big money resource. And there is a Talisman of Rebirth on this stage, saving you a potential of 50,000 in essence. So this is the reason why you need the arrows. You know, it's a cheap sub weapon, doesn't cost very much. You know, it's many times cheaper than the daggers. So sometimes you might get these enemies to where you can shoot them around the train car over here. Sometimes not, though. You see the flying demon over there, and these guys, it's all depending on where you're standing. So if you move around too much, they will get unstuck. So that's why I'm not moving around very much. So this guy's stuck once again. So got him in the hit detection. The hit detection. I mean, I don't know. When I was dealing with those bats, you see how much money I have? Not very much. When I was dealing with those bats in the opening of this chapter, the hit detection was right on. It just sometimes you're going for a headshot, and I mean, this is not a shooter, so they did their best with it. So I think this guy is still trapped, believe it or not. Yeah, so I'm going to shoot him right in the face, right over that rail. At least they're trying, you know. As much as they can't get by, at least they're trying to get out. They'll never get out, though. And just bear in mind that gold Van Gelf is a lot deadlier. That's why he's worth so much money. In fact, I think I got a UT. There is true greed right there. I almost died right there. And the regrettable thing was that I charged an attack off that lucrative piece of essence that was staggered as I jumped up to this platform here. So there's several more guys you have to deal with. We're just dealing with the rest of the spawn as it trickles out. And even this, look at this, he gets stuck. He will. If not him, somebody else. I think it was this guy, though. Yeah, so that is definitely these guys' downfall over here. Is it the last guy? Yep, last guy. Now we're going to make our way up to the save point, not forgetting about that chest of Nimpos, so we can use a couple of Nimpos and then refill our Nimpo meter up later on. Okay, moving on to the next battle. What I have equipped is the Falcon's Talons, and I'm going to go up here. And I'm not going to use the guillotine throw too much, except if I do get stuck with those ISs. I was thinking to myself when I did this battle, you know, what if there was no guillotine throw in this game? It'd be tough on Master Ninja mode, to be sure, but I mean, it's in the game, so just use it, you know. I'm one of those people that doubts myself a lot and doubts what I can do. And before I had even started doing a guide for Vanquish on Godhard, I played it, and I just started Godhard, and it was just really damn hard. Same with this game originally. Well, not this game, but Sigma 2. When I was brand new to the series, I just had never tackled these higher difficulties. But yeah, the guillotine throw is in the game for a goddamn reason, so just use it. I mean, we all have our own playing style, and that's what I'm going to resort to here. A couple of, some people will. It doesn't matter, It's in the game. Are you just one of those people that uses UTs? Do you like to do that move constantly? Do you like to do the Azuna drop? It doesn't matter. This is just a game. But to me, it's more than that. It's something special. But there is a lot of sticklers out there, a lot of real assholes. So just play how you want to play. And if I get comments from elitists, people that I expect are elitists. That portrait actually right there says Aloha in Hawaii. Pretty interesting stuff. A lot of this stuff was stripped from Sigma 2, like these gates here. So I went down and saved it. That's why you noticed I have my dragon sword on. And this part could be skipped if you just want to go up to those barrels and shoot them. But I figured this is the way the game wants to be played out. So I get an on-landing charge here, and I'm going to shoot that barrel, take care of that. These archers are very aggressive. Their hits really hurt because they have long combos. So I like to throw the Inferno over here and take care of these guys. And parried that guy, got a launcher parry. So to do that, by the way, that is definitely an advanced tactic that you should know how to do. When you're parrying with a Y attack, if you get the counterattack going for yourself and you launch the guy up, then just simply press the XY button. And at this point right here, the eye isn't just going to run down the stairs, so just take him out with an arrow or a charged up UT. And I would save it before you come up here because this part's pretty problematic. It's not as hard as the part is on Sigma 2. And now, you see these dogs here. This is the second time in this game now where we're facing dogs. The first time being in the previous, 2 chapters back. But those dogs were not the same dogs as these dogs here. And I think the difference is simply that these guys bite your ankle and drag you to the ground. But that is instant death on Sigma 2. That's what Hayashi decided to do. Instant death for the player. And that's bullshit because these guys attack you so fast that all of a sudden you're dead? That doesn't make sense. So there's usually going to be 1 to 3 dogs getting stuck by those apartment buildings. I'll show you where it is. These guys here. You might want to just kill these guys and get your money. These dog shitters over there. I really like this chapter though. It's a long chapter, admittedly, but I just don't like the previous chapter too much. But this chapter has a nice assortment of enemies, really fun battles, as well as a fun mid-level boss called the Brute Fiend, or the Troll, the Warlock, whatever you want to call him, or King Kong, hell. I've called him that before in the past. Up ahead, though, we're going to... Okay, see what I was trying to... Well, you can't see, but what I was trying to do there was get a charge off that piece of essence right there, but it came into my person too quickly. And here I'm going to be doing the Lunar 360 attack. If you ever are really struggling in this game, and you're wondering to yourself why you're struggling, the one possibility could be that you're not doing that attack as much as you should be, because it is one of the best moves in the game. It's weird because this weapon has 2 UTs, and that admittedly is the better of the UTs. I mean, it's definitely stronger. So that's what I've been finding out myself. Like in the previous chapter when I was fighting Gigadeath, I usually thought that an enemy was really like terrifically broken and all around challenging. But I don't think I died on him more than 2, maybe 3 times yesterday when I played him. And yeah, it is sort of broken and it's unfair. But if you do the 360 UT attack, it does mitigate how difficult it can be. Anyway, I'm going to save it over here, might as well. One thing that I really hate when I'm playing is just re-getting to the part where I was before and having to suffer the loading times, because they're just pretty bad. So here we have some IS ninjas. You should be getting to the point where these guys aren't very tough. And I was looking at the moves for the Falcon's Talons, and I'll have to confirm this because it was late last night and I just can't remember what it was, but the Azuna drop for this weapon isn't unlocked at level 2 like the others. It's at level 3. So I'm going to have to investigate that a little bit more, but I did see that. I was looking through the moves for this weapon. It has 2 types of Azunas, and I believe one of them is not unlocked until level 3. So it's, you know, these guys here, they ruin it for others. You know, people don't want to play the game because they're spam happy. And a lot of people, their mentality is, well, since the game is spamming attacks, then I'm going to spam attacks. And there's really nothing wrong with that, because it's hard to spam attacks on these guys unless you're going for the guillotine throw, but like you can't UT these guys sufficiently, because that UT is just going to break your charge every time. And that's why I had to release it right there, because I knew that guy was going to throw a dagger at me. So there he goes, dead with an ET. You're not going to get damaged here. So feel free to use that Ninpo. And I'm going to go up here and save it and get some really good items coming up. One of which is the upgrade. Can't remember what it's called. The Jewel of the Demon Seal. So this is going to be applied to my wind blades, and I'm going to get that up to level 2. Now both of my Ninpo that I have are both at level 2. Backtracking now will get you this $50,000 item over here. It's the first time in the game when you're simply just given one. You can purchase one up until now, but that's the first time you're given one in an actual box. And coming up, we're going to have a course that has incendiary daggers. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the daggers all the way up until the boss fight, and even after the boss fight, because there are 2 locations in this game, one of which I just passed, that has incendiary daggers for your taking, and you can have as many of them as you want. The next place will be in the lobby of the Statue of Liberty, as well as a heal place where the Xbox icon is inside, behind some shutters. And if I'm not mistaken, we're going to be getting... No, we don't get the dual blades until Chapter 2, do we? No, excuse me, Chapter 5. Maybe not, though. Maybe you get them on this chapter. I've played Sigma 2 more than I've played this game, so I forget. Or maybe it's not more, but definitely it's... the 2 merge together and cause a lot of confusion. But if you're watching this guide for the first time and you're wondering which game you should play, you should definitely play this. But don't restrict yourself and not play Sigma 2. You know. Let me mention those. You don't get iframes with the incendiary daggers with that UT. So an ET will throw 2 daggers, and a UT will throw 3 daggers. And when you're doing those attacks, you're going to get a lot more essence, but you're not going to get, if you're looking to get the blue essence or the red essence, you're just not going to get it. So up ahead, this box right here, it will give you 1,000 in essence, or it will give you the mutant bats, and that's why I have the lunar equipped. Anytime you're opening these chests, you just need to rapidly tap the Y button like I was doing right there, just in case they popped up. But my money's pretty low right now, and I still cannot afford to upgrade a weapon to level 3. The Vangels will spawn once you go backtrack from the Life of the Gods location right here. This is number 6 of a total of 18. So yeah, you can tell by Ryu's stance which UT he's going to do, and right there I knew he was going to do the the regular UT, because I had messed up my on landing. You always want to do on landing charges in this game if you can help it. That's why you oftentimes see me jump away from a location on the map. I just jump away, try to see how I'm doing right now, trying to desperately get that on landing charge. And I'm just throwing these daggers because I know I can keep going back and get them. And I'm actually trying to get some health right here by killing enemies with the daggers, because that's the same as, well, it's not exactly the same, but it's similar to killing enemies with magic, because whenever you do that, you are likely to get blue or red essence. And the Test of Valor on this chapter, I can't remember what it gives you. Oh yeah, it gives you the Talisman of Rebirth, and it's a very, very easy Test of Valor. I'm not going to be including it, but you should definitely do it. It's no strain off you to do it, and your reward is that $50,000 item. So if you already have one, you're going to get 50,000 in essence, which is really great. That's 10,000 more than it costs to upgrade a weapon to level 3. I don't like this fight, and even more, I always save it before this fight. And again, I hate continually dying and having to watch the load screen, and then having to keep going to the location where the fight is every single time. And the save point is pretty far away from this location as well. So what I'm doing here is I'm minimizing my use of the magics, because, well, just because of the simple reason that it costs money to buy Devil Way mushrooms. And if I can just use the daggers, which are free, I can possibly make up for some of these Nimpo uses that I'm doing here. Because, you know, let's see, well, the purple guys will give you 1050, and the gold guys are going to give you 1400. And that is a lot. That's a lot of essence that you're getting, but if you're continually having to buy items, you're offsetting your gain. So you have to play well, bottom line. And just, you know, think about how much you're wasting and how much you're having to buy. Because sometimes it's just smarter to not even use the magic. Anyway, that's the last guy. And what I do over here, you may notice the edit, you may not. But what I'm going to do is come up here, and you'll notice, yeah, there's the edit. But what I did was I saved it at the previous location, because what I want to do is just take out these guys here. And what I'm doing is I'm tossing daggers in the hopes of getting anything other than yellow essence. So I'm looking for health and magic essence. And these are optional fights, but you might as well do them. And the reason I saved it at the previous save point was because I knew I would take damage up here, and I didn't want to save it up here, because saving it means you have to use the heal feature first. So if I could just minimize how much damage I take over here and then fill myself up at the save point, that'll be good. Unfortunately, I didn't get any Nimpo drops, but there's a Grains of Spiritual Life. And we're going to move forward here on the mid-level boss fight right after we save our data. This guy, you want to have your Lunar equipped. And I'm going to go in for... So what you don't want to do right away when you first are spawned into this arena, just don't rush forward headlong into the confrontation, because he's likely to hit you. What you want to do is, every time you block, it's going to give you that sound effect that your guard is getting broken. But don't worry, that's fine. You're not going to take damage. All you need to do is XXY. But if you don't think there's time enough for you to guard, don't do the full XXY combo, or instead just do a couple of X attacks. Don't do Y attacks because they take too long to cancel out of. But that is the entire fight. I mean, all you need to do is just stay between his legs and do the combo, or X button presses, or if you want to, you can just move around and do arrow UTs. But no checkpoint here, and that's just totally unacceptable. There is a checkpoint in Sigma 2, but all there is out here, rather than in Sigma 2 where you had some gold Vangels, but you also had the purple and black Vangels. It's easy to get juggled by these guys' fire projectile attacks. And I mean, you could be almost filled up, and that ground pound, I think it's almost instant death as well. This game is pretty lenient about not just outright killing you with one hit, which I disagree with so fervently that it just makes me mad about Sigma a lot. Sigma 2. So you want to have taken 30 daggers into this fight, because the daggers will kill these guys in 2 hits. The first one will delimb them, the second one will kill them. There just happens to be a lot of these guys, so kind of minimize how much risk you want to take, because you don't want to die and have to do the Brute Fiend over. I had to fight the Brute Fiend like 3 times because I kept dying over here. But until you do this battle here, you're not going to be able to access the save point inside. So there is I believe that was the Y parry, and we're just dealing with these IS ninjas out here. I'm doing the Flying Swallow as in a drop. But normally when I do that attack, I do the Wind Run first. I think I was trying to do it right there, but he was out of my range. That's a good technique to do as well. Wind Path off the guy's head to stun him, and then double back, Wind Run towards him, and then press the Y button to do the Flying Swallow, and then XY to finish off the combo and do the Izuna drop. Okay, then once you hit the save point, switch to whatever weapon you want to, and we're going to be taking on some mages and some IS ninjas over here. In the distance, you might have seen the Test of Valor, which evaporated when these guys spawned here. But over here, I decided to not do the guillotine throw as much. I wanted to see if I could do it without doing the guillotine throw, because you don't have to do the guillotine throw to get your iframes, like I was mentioning in video number 2 about all the ways to get rid of the detonation effect of the ISs when they stick into you. Great ways to do it though are wind pathing off the guys' heads, counterattacking, OTing. And that's gonna be a wrap. It's one of my favorite fights in the game, to be sure. I don't know, something I like this fight a lot. So if you're worried about having to fight the boss for this level, don't, because in the spirit of my advanced tactics guide for Sigma 2, where a lot of the times when I did the boss fights, I did a standard fight with the boss fight in normal speed, and then after that, what I would do is put the boss fight in slow motion. So it just depends on the boss. And Alexei is a prime candidate to do that. So there's the Dragon's Claw and Tiger's Fang. I made about 90,000 in the Test of Valor. I'm not going to be including it, but that's how much I made. And I got myself $50,000 because the reward, I already mentioned that, it's a Talisman of Rebirth. But now we have the Dragon's Claw and Tiger's Fang, and this weapon I did upgrade to level 3 by the end of the video. And was that I think that was the only thing I upgraded to level 3. And I've decided, and it just kind of occurred to me that starting in chapter, I think it's chapter 11, if my mind doesn't misgive me. Do you see that move right there? That is, what move is that? It's a throw with this particular weapon at level 2. I'll have to look that up. I think it's XY, XX. I honestly can't. No, it's something hold. I'll have to look it up. Maybe I can put an annotation in if I remember. But this room here, I think this is the first time that I'm actually doing this room out here. That was a 360Y of the Falcon's Talons. But what I decided to do is I'm not going to upgrade my I'm not going to spend the $40,000 to upgrade the Dragon Sword to level 3 when after the first Elizabeth boss fight, when you get to the Tempered Gravestone chapter, they just upgrade the sword to level 4 for you. So that's always been something, particularly on the Flying Fortress Daedalus stage. I often complain that those enemies are too easy. The robot ninjas, or whatever, the gun ninjas as they're called in this game. So to make the game a little bit more challenging for me on certain stages, the jungle stage 2 where you have the robots, I'm going to keep my Dragon Sword to level 2 until the game just automatically turns it into a level 4 weapon with the true Dragon Sword. So that'll save me 40,000 in essence and make the game a little more challenging for me on certain areas where having the Dragon Sword level 3 makes the game too easy. I think that weapon is that move right there, the throw, is X, Y, Y, and then hold Y. But don't quote me on that. This is a long chapter. It's going to be a little bit shorter than the previous chapter, but there's just a lot of battles. Here's the first Van Gelf. Anytime you need to get your health refilled, make sure you go back to that Xbox and interact with it. It says examine, so just go ahead and examine it and you'll get your health. Okay, so now we're going to go out here and we're going to spawn some Van Gelfs. We're going to have to fight a lot of these guys until we get to the next save point. So I'm going to equip my Lunar. So the important weapons that are really important to me to get to level 3 are the Dragon's Claw and Tiger's Fang, because it works wonders on a lot of bosses. So having that up to level 3 is very helpful. And this weapon here, very helpful on Wolf, on a lot of bosses. I think even, yeah, the first Elizabeth encounter, this will be really handy, so it's nice to have this to level 3. So we only have 4 weapons right now, but in my opinion, the most important ones to get up to level 3 are the Dragon's Claw and Tiger's Fang and the Lunar. But if you are not one of those players that prefers the Dragon's Claw and Tiger's Fang and you want the Dragon Sword up to level 3, just go for it. But realize that you are going to be wasting money buying that final purchase. Anyway, though, I'm going to head back here and just fill my health up. It's a free heal every single time. You can do it as many times as you want as well. And there's an infinite amount of daggers. The only odd thing is, when you enter this area, there was a course with arrows on his dead person. Once you do the battle, once you get into this building and do the mage battle, the one that I said was one of my favorites in the game, then you can no longer get arrows from that guy. But it is nice to be able to get those incendiary shurikens for free. And I think I mentioned this before, but you can always tell which UT Ryu is going to do. If he has one hand on the staff, he's going to be doing the UT. If he has both hands on the staff, then he's going to do the 360 UT. So sometimes I just let go of the charge if I mess it up and I don't get my 360, and I realize that if I commit to the charge, he's just going to do the standard charge, and I don't want to do that most times. But we've taken care of that battle. Since you were near the save point, you might want to save your progress, and then we're going to be doing it's not very fun when you're dealing with these mutant bats. Not much skill is involved, to be honest. There is a box over to the right. I'll be getting that once I deal with these enemies here. But first you want to spawn them by going all the way to the top of this staircase and then falling back and try to get an on landing 360 UT. The standard charge works well too. It doesn't have to be a UT or a 360 UT. But the predicament that I always find myself in is that I don't have enough projectile weapons to deal with the mutant bats. You can do the Azun drop combo on them to hit them out of the air, and maybe even the flying swallow if they're low enough to the ground. And obviously you can use the Inferno to kill them, but I don't like to waste magic on that. But I did want to take care of all of the enemies, and I'll show you how to do it. It's just that you will in all likelihood not have enough to deal with everything before the save point. So what I would do is I would kill all these enemies and then go back, refill your health, but more importantly restock on the incendiary daggers, because you're going to have a lot more of the mutant bats to deal with before you get to the save point. And I just think it's the only real thing you can do, especially if you're concerned with your score and killing everything. Because if you spawn the enemies and go back, then you're going to make them unspawn. So anytime you see me doing that twirl, it's because I've missed my 360 charge on landing, and I'm screwing it up. So there's a nice parry right there. The Y parry doesn't connect, the X parry does sever the limbs. So I think this might be the last Van Gelf here. And after this, I'm just going to take care of the mutant demons. One incendiary dagger will take care of these, and I think it's 3 arrows as well. And what kind of makes me irritated though is when you're using the daggers, you're depending on the game's auto aim. It's kind of like in Metroid, where they have Metroid Other M, because I'm always a fan of Team Ninja's projects. You know, whether it's something stupid or something really frivolous like the Dead or Alive games, or I haven't really played them at all. I casually played them a little bit, but I don't really like fighting games. But and I might even give Yaiba Ninja Gaiden Z at least consider. I don't know. I might even try it. It's just that I don't know. But anyway, what I was talking about was they made a game called Other M several years ago. I think back in '08, and it was a really fantastic game. But the only problem about that game is that the enemies didn't drop any items. There was never any incentive to kill enemies, which was really stupid. But here you're depending on the auto aim, and the auto aim is very poor. So what happens is you end up wasting a lot of daggers because they just don't connect with these demons here. But just realize that it only takes one to kill them. So when you throw one and you suspect that it's targeted them and landed on him, see that? Like, what the fuck is that? So At this point, I'm going to run up the stairs a little bit, but realize that right over here, there's an edit. And what I did in between that edit was I went back and refilled my health and restocked on my daggers. Because if you go up here and you're intent on killing all the mutant demons, you just cannot. There's not enough projectile weapons to use. And if you don't have any more arrows, that's I was in the same boat, because that course won't yield anymore, and we don't have a store for quite a while. So if you haven't gotten your fill of the Van Gelfs, here's about 20 more of them to deal with outside. Over in this location, the mutant demons aren't going to spawn. They stay on the other side. They've already spawned, actually, but I like to stay over here so that they don't interrupt my confrontation with these guys here. See their flapping wings over there? They stay right in front of the doorway. And I've had some comments, people who are telling me that they've had a lot of lag in their Ninja Gaiden 2 game. And they've asked me if I've had lag. I don't get lag. The only thing about the lag is that the more enemies that are on screen that you trigger, the more the frame rate will drop. But the thing about that is, like a battle like this, they're obviously, look at all these enemies. There's a lot of enemies here, but I'm getting 0 lag. And the reason is, the game's frame rate is optimized for every battle. But for instance, if I went inside this dwelling, this building here, and spawned the IS ninjas, who weren't really a part of the conceived battle at the time when the game makers made this, whenever you're like running forward and spawning enemies, and then leaving, and not finishing a previous wave, then you'll get a lot of slowdown. I mean, I don't even get lag when I'm recording this game, and in the background my computer is also rendering an hour-long file of a previous chapter for this game. And I certainly don't get lag when I'm playing, but there are times when it does lag, particularly in I think it's chapter 10, when you're on that staircase, that seemingly eternal staircase. That is a big problem. It does lag there. But as long as you're not summoning, crossing a lot of extra tripwire points that the game doesn't really want you to. And when I say that, I know it sounds kind of weird, but whenever, the game wants you to do one fight and then move on and do the next fight. It doesn't want you to have any stragglers in the equation, because it really isn't optimized to deal with that. Like, if I went in that door over there and summoned those lackeys, those incendiary shuriken ninjas, they would come out, and I would definitely get some frame rate issues. But I barely had enough. You see how I'm down to 9 of these daggers here, and there's still a lot of these guys around. That's why I had to go back. And I'm using daggers here because doing the dagger kills will oftentimes give you blue and red essence drops, which are very helpful. I did not want to do that. It wasn't like I did it on accident. I did it on purpose, but I realized that if I didn't use it, I would probably run out of projectiles, and I just resigned myself to using it. Okay, so that looks like the last guy is dead right there. Maybe not. Maybe one more guy. Kind of an interesting fact: when you have one projectile left, you can still do a dagger ET or UT. And those take 2 or 3. But if you have one and you do an ET charge, which is the base level charge, he will still throw 2. And likewise, if you do the UT charge, he'll still throw 3 daggers, even though you only have 1 left. So that's kind of interesting. So we're gonna have some IS ninjas spawn right over here, and not many of these guys. I think just 3 of them. And my mind wants me to, it kind of is pushing me towards believing there was some archers inside, but I don't know. Maybe they're only in Ninja Gaiden Sigma 2. Life of the Gods, excuse me, Life of the Thousand Gods. You should have, I think you should have 6. We'll be getting our 6th one. Don't quote me on that, though. You definitely want to go and save it right now, though. The reason I was glancing over there was because there is something over there if you haven't gotten the Crystal Skull, but if you have, there's nothing over there. Okay, so we have an archer and some IS ninjas. Not too bad at all. So I was able to have some iframes during that Azuna drop body slam, and fortunately enough I was able to release my charge right there. A wind path and do the double flying swallow. Ooh, okay. So I'm getting pretty jacked up, and I believe I'm going to do the launcher parry and then follow that up with the Azuna drop. That can be hard to learn how to do, but I would implore you to learn how to do it. Yeah, this motherfucker, this always happens right here. Look at this. I don't even have the words to describe what that shit is. It's annoying, though. That's all I can really say about it. It's annoying. Laughable, yeah, it is laughable. But I've seen it so often that I'm not finding it funny anymore. I'm finding it irritating. Another thing I found irritating over here was that I killed all these mutant bats. But where is my essence? In fact, I'm going to try to drag the essence over to me. So, I don't understand that. I opened that box, slayed all the mutant bats, but got absolutely nothing. It's mind-baffling. But anyway, this right here, this location, if you just want to grab the Life of the Gods, just do it. I mean, this is just if you're a real completionist like myself and want to do it. What you'll have to do is go to the store up top and buy some arrows, and then refill on the. Don't waste your 6,000 buying 30 daggers when you can go back. You can go back a save point and get the 30 daggers for free. So what I'm doing is killing a bunch and then going into the room to have the items come into my possession. So yeah, you notice I'm getting hit a lot here, but that's just because the visibility is very low, and these guys are pretty much just surrounding you. But anyway, now I have now I have this weapon up to level 2, so I'm going to come up here and do X, Y, X, 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 hold Y to do that throw. I believe it's it's classified as a throw for some reason. That slash that cuts the guys in half. There should be 2 more guys over here. They got stuck. Had I known they got stuck, I would have tried to do arrow UTs on those guys. Okay, but anyway, we're at the store. This will be the last guy to kill, and then we'll be dealing with Alexei. There's the throw again. So, if I were you, what you need to do is equip the Talisman of Rebirth that you got earlier in the stage, and equip whatever weapon you want. If you're following my guide and you're having trouble, just equip the Dragon's Claw and Tiger's Fang. I will show you how to beat this guy. He's not very difficult. So he's going to charge at you across the screen very quickly, and just get used to the grab. It's really hard to get even the iframes to deal with that fucking grab. But what I'm going to do here is limit myself to using just fierce attacks, even though they're a little slower. And I'm just doing 4 hits, and I'm not pressing forward. I'm just because if you press forward on those attacks, Ryu will do that forward stab, and it leaves you vulnerable. Whenever he hovers in the sky, what you need to do is evade towards him. Because normally you can't activate your Ninpo like right off of another attack. You have to, rolling is a lot more effective. But this fight, it just happens too fast for me to speak about it unless I slow it down considerably, so that's going to follow this clip here. Now he's got this projectile with his lightning. Right there I was just trying to give myself some iframes. Okay, so what I did right there was I followed up my 4 fierce attacks with the 360 Y attack, which gives you iframes in this game. So when he's in berserk mode, he's not impossible to hit, he's just harder to hit, and he's faster. So here is the exact same fight in slow motion. He's gonna dodge, so I'm gonna evade. You need to see how that wasn't a proper, that was not a good evade, as that was not, because you have to evade in a diagonal direction to avoid him. And that grab that he does on Sigma 2, instant death regardless of how much life you have. So I'll always consider Sigma 2 to be the harder of these 2 iterations here. A lot of people think I'm trolling by saying that, but I'm not. I'm speaking the God's honest truth, in my opinion. So stab him. Okay, he's going to do this, so you're going to need to evade away. And just be very... See, do I get hit? I think I get hit. Yes, I get hit, and that was my fault because I wasn't evading in a directional manner consistent with a diagonal move. So just evade twice right there, and then evade diagonally. See, that time I did it correctly, and then 4 stabs with the Y button. He's stunned, and then you could also follow that up with the 360 Y. That would be a very good move to do afterwards. So evade diagonally. He has blockable... Well, you could also parry his attacks, but I don't. He has blockable attacks, 2 of which can be blocked, and then the 3rd one breaks your guard, so you've got to roll away after that. So, inevitable grab. You can drop... When you suspect that he's doing that, you can drop Ninpo. So, I'm going to evade towards him, because if I pressed the buttons to activate the Ninpo, it wouldn't have activated, because it's broken. That's all I can think of. So I need to evade. Chop, 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 chop. And then here is where I do I do the 360? Yeah, 360, but it didn't hit him. It hit him a little bit maybe. So now he's going to evade towards me. I'm going to do my 360. It stuns him. See, now those attacks those aren't grab attacks. Those are just punch attacks. So feel free to block those. And then I'm gonna... Yeah. The thing is, that's the unfair thing about this guy. When I say they're not grabs, like literal grabs, most of the time they're not, but he could, in an instant, like before you can even blink your eyes, grab you, follow it up with a grab, and it's just not fair. But at least you can only hit this guy with Ninpo when he's in the air, so that's why you have to evade really quick towards him and then launch the Ninpo to get your damage off him. So now he's probably going to throw these electricity particles at us since I'm far away from him. And I need to evade properly. There we go. Here's the point at which I activated the Ninpo for the iframes. And that right there, it didn't solve anything. I mean, it didn't hurt, but it definitely didn't do anything for me. So there was his grab attack. I was able to avoid it at that point, do 4 stabs with the Y button, follow it up with this. Wow, that was significant damage. Wow. Anyway, so Berserk mode, he has no new attacks. He's just faster and harder to hit, like I said before. So I could have closed in the. I should have. What I should have done right there is closed in the distance, but obviously, you know, I can't do something over when it's already set in stone. So 4 hits with the Y button. He's almost dead. And I hope this guide has helped you beat Chapter 4. I'll see you in Chapter 5.